Hey everyone, it's Veronica and welcome to my channel. And on today's video we're going to be doing a brief introduction to hand sewing. My series of videos now will be about hand sewing. This is just the introductory video to hand sewing. So what exactly is hand sewing or hand stitching as it's sometimes called? It's just simply sewing or stitching by hand without a sewing machine. So there are very many types of sewing projects that require using your hand without like a sewing machine. So in the course of our videos, I'll introduce you to different kinds of hand sewing techniques and their uses. Now we'll be talking about the materials or tools needed for hand sewing. The truth is, I just tried to make up something. If I were to sew, I would just need my thread, my needle, and the fabric I was sewing. But you need your thread, pins to hold your fabric in place, your hand needle, which is like the holy grail of hand sewing. Then some people will use a thimble if just to avoid sewing accidents. To me, it's not like the most important thing. I don't know, it's not like the most important thing, but these are things you will need, you can get. Then you need your fabric, especially for practice. That is, if you don't know how to hand sew, you just want to learn and still need sewing directly on fabric, you can use fabric for practice, preferably muslin. As I said before, hand sewing is centered around the hand sewing needle. So what exactly is a needle? A needle is a fine and slender piece of polished metal with two ends, one with a point and another with an eye or hole for threading. So if you pick up a needle and you look at it, usually it's polished. I won't advise you use a rusted needle. So it should be polished without rust. Then it has two ends. One of the ends is pointed, while the other has an eye or a hole for threading. Now we'll talk about the types of hand sewing needles. I just have four here: sharp, self-threading needles, betweens, and millenary needles. But trust me, there are so many different types of hand sewing needles. I thought I knew a lot of them. Doing my research, I found out so many that I had no idea of. My initial plan was to get these needles and show you, but around where I stay, I couldn't get, I think I could only get a sharp. If I would try to categorize the ones I saw, everything I was seeing was either a sharp or a between. But now I've ordered some of the needles that I can't get, and they've not gotten to me yet. So I'm promising a video where I'll show you and demonstrate how to use many other of these needles. We have darning needles, we have beading needles, we have embroidery needles, flat needles, leather needles, curved needles. There are so many different types of hand sewing needles, but for the sake of this video we'll be talking just about sharps, self-threading needles, betweens, and millenary needles. The first needle we'll be talking about is the sharp, and they are standard sewing needles used to sew anything. Is the most popular of all the hand needles, and the reason why it's popular is because it's easy to grip. So if you move into any store and you request for a hand needle, most definitely you'll be given a sharp. Of all the needles, the self-threading needle is the most fascinating to me for reasons best known to me. So first of all, this needle is good for those that have low vision, for the elderly, then for even the blind. So this kind of needle is not the typical needle that has an eye that you have to focus and pull your thread through. So it comes in different, I think I've seen two types of self-threading needle. Then the one I think was a traditional self-threading needle, I stand to be corrected, has like a tiny V-shaped slot directly above the eye where you just push the thread through. That's one. Then I also saw the one that is being displayed now on your screen that has something like a, I don't know what to call it, like a hook something. So you push your thread through and it goes through, then you can like secure it. So that's another self-threading needle. So like the name says, so they don't need to like, the way our traditional hand needles are, like you have to like push, focus, push your thread through the eye. So these ones you can just easily thread the needle. So I think is the most fascinating of all, because it actually helps people that may not be able to use the traditional needle. So this is my best needle, but it has a disadvantage, being that most of the time the thread will always come out of the needle. That's just the problem with it. So you have to like, the thread is usually not secure in the needle, so you have to like retread. So that's just the only problem, but if not, it's cool actually. The next needle is the between and is ideal for professional sewing and handcraft techniques like back stitching and applying appliques to your fabric or projects. The difference between the sharp and the between, they look alike. The difference between the between is that the between the difference between the sharp and the between. Odd. So difference is that is the between is shorter than the sharp. That's why when we were talking about sharps, we're like sharps are preferred because they are easier to grip. So you see why the between is shorter, so it's not easy to grip. That's why it's not so popular, but it's there. It's just shorter than the. Our last needle for today is the millenary needle. It's sometimes referred to as the straw needle. It was traditionally used in hat making, that is before we started using it for other sewing projects. The millenary needle was made to be used to make hats. It was used for hat making. It is long with round eyes and is ideal when using the art of pleating. So when you want to pleat and it's a hand sewing project, the millenary needle is the best needle to be used for pleating. We've come to the end of our introductory video to hand sewing. Now, if you know you cannot thread a hand needle, or you can thread a hand needle but you cannot knot a thread, well, my next video is for you. So you'll learn how to thread a hand needle and how to knot a thread. So I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking with me. Please don't forget to follow me on my social media handles. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, like, comment, and share. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.